Hello, hockey fans. Well, I procrastinated for so long, I ended up doing this entire video today. I usually take the 2 weeks and relax, but then somebody on the radio said the draft was tomorrow, so I don't have much choice. We're going to look at the 2013 draft, 4 years ago. How many of those guys have made the NHL? So, right off the bat, never played any other league. There's only 4 players in this entire draft that have actually made the team in their first year. Nathan McKinnon, Alexander Barkov, Seth Jones, and Sean Monahan with Calgary. The rest of them all ended up playing. I mean, there's a lot of them that played one AHL, NHL season, like Elias Nordstrom. He only played part of the season in the AHL and then was in the NHL after that. Ristolainen, Bo Harvat, and I'm sure there's more. I'm not going to go through all of them. So I'm going to leave this here for about a minute, and then we're going to go through the next list. So if you want to see your players on your team, where they are, hit pause, and you'll get to see that. All right, and now for part two, 25 to 30 in the first round. Again, some of these guys never made the National Hockey League in the first round. There's quite a few that are still toiling in the AHL. So other than that top 10, then the drop-off is rather steep. Now, in the other notable picks, this year I decided to go through the entire 7 rounds. That's right, I clicked on 360 names and went through the, 210 names. Let me correct that. Just to see how they did. And the more lower you get in the draft, the harder it is to find somebody that's actually in the NHL right now. Like Jacob de la Rose, 1 year in Sweden, and then he's 3 years between the NHL and the AHL. Oh, and I have a criteria as well. You have to have played at least 15 games in the NHL to even make my list. I know there's guys that have gotten a game here and there, or 3 or 4 games spread out, whatever. I don't know how it happened, so therefore I didn't want to just go there and pick those guys. But you had to have played at least 15 games in the National Hockey League in the last. And you see that more the first 3 years. There's a lot of university players here, so they would have played their 3 or 4 years in university before coming to the NHL. And a lot of those guys, I mean, the university schedule is nowhere near what the National Hockey League schedule is. Junior hockey, for that matter, so they weren't going to make the team right off the bat either. So a lot of these university players either end up in the AHL or end up not playing at all. It's always a gamble to pick one of those guys. And now for the rest of the list, all the way down to 186, Joel Vermin for Tampa Bay actually played a certain number of games for the Tampa last season, but before that he was in Switzerland, and then 2 years in AHL before finally make it. But if you look at all these guys, like one exception here is at 166, Alan Quinn for the New York Islanders actually played a full season in the National Hockey League. Pretty well everybody else, it's been a little bit of both. Injured reserve or whatever. And there's quite a few guys that I have absolutely nothing on. It's like they were drafted, but they dropped out. Like this guy here, Matthias Janmark Nyland, played 1 year in Sweden and then I have nothing for him 2016. I don't know what he did last year. Even the team's website only gives me that 15-16 season, doesn't give me anything for last year. So either something happened or maybe he sat out. I mean, who the heck knows? Local politics, I guess. All right, so that's it. Enjoy the draft. It's coming up tomorrow, Friday.